All right, I'm in my 99 account, and what happened was I just didn't have time to play all my stuff this weekend, so I played my auto, my 77 account, and it took so much effort that I just didn't have it in me. And one of my teammates, Terry, had a pretty tough weekend, and so I let him play my 99 account. And so what I did was I had the opening round. I think I came in with a minus 25. So these are my T4 clubs, and they're not necessarily like my T3 and below clubs, or my commons are at level 9. So I mean, I'm starting to get some clubs up, but I still don't have like a killer set of clubs by any stretch of the imagination. And so I gave Terry my I gave him a picture of my notes. I actually shot a short little video for him, just going over my notes, talking about what the deal was, and I had all of them on video. So what you could do is you could go watch the hole and then play it, and then go watch the hole and then play it, and try and put yourself in that spot. But you have to work out the numbers, like the very light, little, like minute stuff. Here's the deal. I hear this all the time. People go, "No, man, my numbers are good." And it's like unless you're getting like every one of them's dropping, your numbers are like if you hit it perfect and it doesn't go in the hole, it's got to go in the hole every time. Otherwise, you got to be flexible enough. Like, I know there's a lot of times when we're doing these shots and it's like, man, I'm just like right on the edge of the cup, and you just keep doing the same stuff expecting that it will be in the cup. You have to make a change in order to get it to the cup. So like, and you have to make that change, and you have to have 100% confidence in it. Like my whole goal is to show you how to set the shots up to get to the point where you're now looking at that shot, and you have to make the adjustments, and you have to understand how to make those adjustments for your game, not making those adjustments because when you watch me shoot it, I go, I'm using a minus 15%. And I usually try and explain it like I'm using a minus 15%. And then where there's one of the holes in this tournament, I'm using a minus 15% because I'm shooting at max club, even though I'm in mid club. And so that means I'm automatically adding on 25% win. And so I don't need 25%. I only need a 10%. So I'm going to take 15% off so that I can stay at my 1 per ring. So sometimes how I work the numbers for my stuff, I'm sure that people go, dude, what the hell are you thinking? But you have to work those out for yourself. And hopefully the videos are like helping you get out there so that you can make the shot. So with this account, with these clubs, you can shoot the minimum score of minus 24 in pro from the pro tees with a Marlin. So you should absolutely be able to get on all of the holes. And it's just a matter of, there's a few holes that I can get within short iron range where I have just as good a shot as my upper developed account because I have a Kingfisher, or I have a club that gives me the stuff. So I gave Terry all the stuff, and let's see if he followed along with it. Now the goal here is not to bash. This isn't bash Terry day. What we want to do is be real critical of like the shots. Like if you were a player and a coach was reviewing your stuff, we want to like really look at it because we all want to get better. So let's see how Terry did. And it starts off, we only have the last 15 holes. So we missed the first 3. Somebody got a hole in one here. Did somebody get a hole in one, or is it only showing the last shot? Let's see what it's showing. This is the shot coming into the green. That was good distance on the. And I definitely, for the clubs that were in this bag, like that little teeny bit of topspin, just in case you ended up short, you had a little bit more topspin with the hammerhead. Really good ball guide, good accuracy. It was just a little bit better than the Viper. So let's pause it. Oh, we can't pause it. So the hammerhead hits 1.7 per ring, and I'm doing a 15% wind adjustment. So it's somewhere around 3.132 divided by 1.7 per ring. So a little shy of 2 rings. Very nice. Oh, that's the deal right there. That's the deal. That's I'm gonna watch that one more time and see how much topspin, because I think on my notes I was like anywhere from like a half to 2 to 2.5, but never more than 2.5 topspin. because the ball guide here, there you go. So that was at the absolute max end of the number for topspin. Let's check the rings out here. So this should have been about a 2-ring pull, somewhere in that neighborhood. That was right at maybe just a little shy of 2 rings, but right there at it. Just a little too much. That was hey Terry, that was well executed. I mean, you did the deal. That was just that's just that fine tuning down there at the end, and the difference in ball guides. And part of that's just from going from one account to the next, because you have one account that has a little bit better ball guide, and one account that has a little less, and you get used to kind of like what distance you want to be at. And so the topspin seems right, but your distance, like when you have more ball guide, like how it's reading. But that was you did good on that. Even though we didn't end up with the minimum score that we were, and I'm not sure if you made the putt or not. So maybe you did end up with the minimum score here. It doesn't show it, but that shot right there was well executed. Even though it didn't work out the way you wanted, it was a well executed shot. Shot number 1 on this is on hole number 4. Let's watch and see what we did here. So this is the bounce par 3. And I was doing the Guardian shot, trying to get as far forward as I can, because it's flatter up towards the front of this. That's one of the reasons of bringing a Guardian, because right in that area, it's flatter up there, and maybe just a titch more backspin, but that's the area where now I'm doing a 20% wind adjustment, so that's 7, so that's 4-3 on my Guardian. That should be 2.5 rings. Because the notes say 20%, and that's a good area, and that's the deal right there. That's it. On this hole right here, that shot affords you a very small chance for hole in one, maybe 1 in 100. But the deal is you'll end up with a birdie every freaking time, and that hole was eating people's lunch, and so that was a great shot there on that one. Why does it have a bunch of shots on that? Oh, you guys went to shootout shot 1, shootout shot 1, shot 2. Oh, that was your putt. All right, let's go to the next hole and see how you did on the drive. The drives are all important because the drives will put you in the right spot, and then you have to then you're at, and some of these holes, the spot that we're in is just as good as the upper developed stuff, and some of the spots that we're in, it's iffy. All right, playing over to that side, we want to be 2 rings off max topspin, max left-hand side spin, as much as you can get on. Keep going. Come on. The more the merrier. 2 rings off the transitional surface. I know that seems like you're way the hell out there, but that's why we have curl on our clubs. 3 mile an hour wind, that's a 1.5 rings. So that's back to the fairway rough line. And then curl. No overpower. Curl. People get in spots like that right there, and they think that the way to get past that rough on the other side is to overpower it, and excellent, you got out. So well played. But the deal is you didn't have to put any overpower on at all. You had the entire fairway. The entire fairway is on the left-hand side. The entire fairway. So if you put any left-hand curl on that shot, you're guaranteed to end up going to the left. And what's on the left-hand side? All of the fairway. I mean, the entire fairway's over there. Those shots are all set up so that you don't have to do any overpower. You don't have to do anything special. Just put a little bit of curl on it to bring it back to the fairway. That was hey, the deal is that shot's set up so that if you do the curl and you hit it great to the right, you'll bleed out into the fairway just like you did. So I found on this hole that if I was 5 miles an hour into the rough, so like I'm using a 100% accurate club, it's 5 rings, but on this runner, it's closer to 3 rings. So like if I was 3 rings off of the transition between the fairway and I was that deep into the rough that the ball traveled better. I saw an opponent do that, and let's see if they can get it in there. I'm going to go back and watch his wind adjustment on that. I was talking and not paying attention. So it just missed on the outside. So let's say if he used my wind adjustment. So my wind adjustment on this was that there wasn't a wind adjustment. I wanted to aim towards the bottom left-hand side of the cup and shoot a straight up 1-for-1. And that runner in that account, let me look on my note sheet here. That runner is, we should be in the mid runner range. So it should be about 3 per ring. We have a 3.9 wind, so it'd be 1 1/3 rings. Let's see how many rings. And that was about 1 1/3, 1.5, somewhere in that neighborhood. It was a little, and that was an underpull based on the way the wind was blowing. That's just making those fine-tune adjustments down at the end. The key thing here is that you put yourself in the right spot with the drive. And so I have to count that. Even though we didn't get the eagle that you're looking for, I have to count that as a win. You did end up in the deal, but you could have made that drive easier on yourself by not doing any overpower there and just using a little bit of curl to bring it back to the fairway. All right, the next hole is this. I think this might be hole number 5. Let's check out the drive. Let's see how the drive went. Let's see if we can be critical here. So far, I mean, it's just been play. But you can see how any dropped shots are, you can't recover. You can't recover from the base score. Like you can go on a hole and not get the eagle you were looking for. Or you can get on a hole and not get the Albie you were looking for, and that's not going to kill your game. What'll kill your game is when you go out there and you don't get the birdie that you were supposed to get. So 4 rings off, max topspin, max, and you're going right towards that tip, and you're going to take the wind out. So it's 4, 410, or 4-4, somewhere in that neighborhood. So four rings, putting right hand curl on it, more curl than that. Probably all the way to the edge of the ball, and letting it just float out there. I think because of the way you hit that perfect, but you can see how close you were with that little bit of curl, just a little teeny bit more curl to bring it back. Once this is the opposite of the last hole. We set the drive up so that the entire fairway is on the right-hand side. The entire fairway is on the right-hand side. So if you put curl on there, even if you hit it great to the left, it's still going to go to the right because you put curl on it. All right, you're in the fairway. That's awesome. So you achieved what you wanted to on the drive. So now it's all about the shot going in. So this shot going in, this is the hole I'm doing a minus 15% at max club. Whatever club I'm using. But it may be different with the big dog. So the big dog is at 2.5 per ring in that account. So the way it should be is probably somewhere in the 2.8 rings, somewhere in that neighborhood. So it's a ring and a little. And when you're at this spot right here, Terry, spin it around so that you can see exactly where your ball guide's going straight, so you can get that view. Because sometimes when you look at it from one side, you look like you're going at it, but when you flip it around and you spin it around, you look at where the ball guide's going, or you look at it from the left-hand side, you'll get a different view of it, and you'll go, damn, I'm like 2 squares off. All right, so we're on the green there. That was not the shot going in, but that's the deal. Those are the shots that you guys have to figure out. You have to have a method. And if you know the rings, if you know the ring numbers on whatever clubs you're using, it really doesn't matter what clubs you're using. All right, so we have the putt was next. Let's go to Oasis. Let's see what happened on the drive on this one. Let's see. This might be like an hour-long video just going through all these. But so far, so good, Terry. I mean, there's a little bit of like technical stuff that I think will make it easier for you. You never want to have to use overpower unless you have to. The whole goal is to do it, is to finesse that sucker in there. Okay, here I'm doing a 40% wind adjustment. So that's 1.2, 1.3, so that's 4.6. And 4.6 divided by 1.2 is a little shy of 4 rings. is how much I would move this. And I will tell you on this hole, it's easier. If you come to this hole, it's a setup hole, 7 backspin. Spin it around so that you're looking at the green from the other side so that you can then grab a hold of your ball guide and you can work it right to the cup. And then push the wind out, because you don't want to be pulling the wind out, because on this, when you're pulling the wind out, you have all this curvature of the course up here, and it's a little bit harder. It's easier to push the wind out on this particular hole. So like usually when I get on this hole, I make my 7 miles per hour. And what'll happen is if you don't do that 40% wind adjustment, you'll clip that and end up, and that is a shit putt. I would give myself a 50% chance that I would make that putt. So let's see if Terry made the putt. No, we don't want the shootout. Yeah, he did. So he did make the putt. He went to a shootout. All right, let's go to the next one. Let's see what you did on the drive here, Terry. Let's see if you got this drive right. Somebody got the eagle here because there was only 2 shots. So I would have laid up to the right, because and I'll tell you why. Because it's the safe play. It's a straight in. If you use a quarterback and a kingmaker, you can hit up there and just put it right. And you can, with the side spin that's on the kingmaker, you don't have to put any curl or anything. You just hit it up into that spot and you have a straight in sniper shot, like a straight in. Nothing's in your way. You take no risks of doing this stuff. With this account right here, as far as like doing the rough bump down there, it would be really critical on like what the wind adjustment is. I think in the video I played to the right. There's no way I played to the front. Let's see if 99 is the one that picked up the shot. Somebody did something here. Or somebody forfeited. So you can do the bounce over, or you can do the rough bump, or you could bring a backspin club and try and backspin it right to the cup. There's got to be a huge wind adjustment here. There has to be, because when I was sitting here with my sand wedge, it seemed like it was like a 50% wind adjustment. It's a huge wind. Look at how downhill you're hitting. That was an eyeball. That was an eyeball wind adjustment on a shot that you really wanted to take super dead serious. You got a serious chance here. Even if you just did a max adjustment. Nice distance, though. Nice distance. That's just the difference on how I play that, because I think the middle shot of all the shots there, I would rather, in my upper developed account, it's all about trying to get out there in short iron range. Max OP hook. All right, 99. Let's see how you did on the drive on this one. What hole are we on? I think this is a par 5. It is the par. This is hole 9. Okay, so this shot right here with the QB, and we're at the plus 10. Now we could use a Titan or a Kingmaker, but you're at the plus 10 mark. I would push that, and here's the deal, Terry. Like, see where your second bounce is up there? Like you're just in front of the rough. You could go forward more and give yourself more room. And it's very on this particular hole. Like, look at the terrain in front of you. That side of that fairway pad is super rough, and so you can push that forward to the point where you're in front of all of that stuff right there where you landed. And so sometimes when you hit that one area right there, it takes an irregular bounce. The end result was awesome. But like talking about critically, like on shot setup, if you set it up the other way, your chances of failing would be lower. And so the whole goal is to give yourself, you have to end up in that spot. You don't want to do what I did in my odd account and almost choke on the last hole. All right, and this hole right here, I mean, I was doing a 5% wind adjustment because I was still working. I was off the cup like all week long. This is the only one of the par 5s I didn't get an Albion on. And I was pretty much in the range where it was like 2.5 topspin, maybe 3 with this club, moat at the max. And I don't even know if you put any topspin on there, did you? And I wouldn't use any overpower here. I would just let it float up there and take my chances, only because it's too hard to judge speed when you're using topspin. Like if you had a little bit of backspin on there and you put a little overpower, you can kind of judge what the speed's going to do. But when you're using topspin, it's hard sometimes. I want to watch that one more time. I want to see if you ran topspin up. And we can skip the replay as soon as we get to that point. I want to see if you ran some topspin on there, because it seems like that club has 3 topspin. Okay, so you did. And with the 2.9 mile an hour wind, it's gonna be short because the ball guide has been lying. But that I didn't see like huge problems on the front. So you did pretty decent on the front. Thought that was a good rep. Hole number 1. Da 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 da. And I don't think you liked the whole setup on hole number 1. My deal was on hole number 1 is just shoot straight forward. Just shoot out into this area right here. And this will put you in long iron range, and you can go at it with your long iron and bring a Saturn, because a Saturn will get you out of just about any kind of deal you can get into. If you need curl and you're pinching up too close to the thing, you're just laying up into the center of the fairway. So keep the ball guide in the center of the fairway. If you add any curl right here, you take the risk of clipping that. Ending up nicely in the fairway, trying to weave through, you were trying to get greedy there, trying to get the S curve. You got the shot down though. That's good. That was good. Ended up in the perfect spot. Ended up in a better spot than I would have ended up in, because I would have just laid it up to the very center of the fairway and rolled with it. Or you could do what I did on the back 9 and you could run it into the rough. One of the two. I might have did that in the front. No, I think I did it in the back. And then have to scramble. All right, so you're coming in with your backbone, which is 1.4 per ring. And on this particular hole, I didn't have any numbers for far away. I was trying to get up there right here in this front area in 1 with a max overpower hook. And so I would say the most would be a 10%. So it'd be 4.3. There's 4.2. And you did 2.5 rings at 1.4. So there's 2.8 plus 7. It's 3.5. So you actually took some wind out. Nice effort. Nice effort. All right, we don't need to see the stuff on that one. Let's go to hole number 2. Let's see. Hole number 2, 99 right here. Look at that. You got the ace. You got the ace on hole number 2. If you shot a 24, if you shot the minimum score, Terry, if you shot the minimum score, you picked one up. You would have came in with a 25. So you can go look in the bracket and see where a 25 would have ended up. That's probably a solid top 10 if you were in the 20. If you had a 25. That's why I know it sounds a little weird, but that minimum score that we talk about at the beginning of the week is the basis for a winning round. If you don't, like, you can go, yeah, I get hole-in-ones on that, or I get albies on that all the time. If you can't get a fucking birdie on that par 4 all the time, and you drop a shot on the minimum score, you're screwed. I mean, that's just how that works. I'm so passionate about it that you got a rare cuss out of me on video. Sorry about that. Nice ace. All right, let's see what we have here. This is hole number 3. This is the big par 5. Let's see what the drive looked like, Terry. All right, we're doing the bounce, diddy bounce, diddy bounce. You stretch your topspin out max. You pull back in your shot until you can see your bounces going over. No, pull back. Pull back. No. Nope, this is not this isn't gonna be good. You gotta put the topspin on it, and then you gotta pull it back so that you can see all three bounces landing on the fairways. You do a 30% wind adjustment and you're golden. I know that was in the video because I know because that's the only way that I shoot that hole. I don't do any. I try not to ever do any kind of overpower on that. I use my extra mile where I stretch my topspin out so that I can see bounce number one, bounce number two, bounce number three, and I pull back until those three bounces are in those fairways, and then I just let it do the bounce diddy bounce diddy bounce. And I have found that if you if you add on 30% wind, that those bounces will stay true, and you'll always end up in the right area. So you're going to have a big ton of crap because if you brought the hammerhead, you're 7 yards short of what you'd be with your big dog, and your big dog has the topspin, so you're going to be short. So the thing to do here is to lay up as good as you can in the middle and give yourself the best shot that you can possibly get with your Firefly so that you can try and run it up there. And it'll be hard to run it up, so you have to do the little backspin. But that's what I would do, is I would try and lay it up. 4.3, hammerhead's 1.7, so that's about 2.5 rings. There you go. 2.5 rings. And I think I was doing like a 15% wind adjustment. I'm not sure what the curl was for. That shot looked like it was set up right. Maybe you're trying to do the weave and bob. Perfect. That's about as good as you could have got. The Firefly has a lot of strengths, but what it doesn't have as a strength is when it's in its max club and you're trying to get it in the hole. So the deal is here is that this is why I try and take these types of shots all the time. If you watch my one-on-one play, I'm off the green all the time and I'm taking these shots. And the deal is that I'm okay taking these shots. You need practice on these shots, and you need to have 100% confidence that what you're doing is right. Because if you don't have that 100% confidence that what you had on there to begin with is right, because you do not want to run out any topspin on this hole. And whenever you put on a little bit of backspin and the ball guide starts doing that, get closer to the hole. Get closer to the hole, because then the ball guide gets tighter as it gets up to the cup. So if you pushed up to the hole right now, the ball guide would get really short, just like it is right there. But the farther away you get, the more it wants to get wonky. Oh, you're not going to make this. Where you had it out originally when you very first started, that was perfect. Perfect. And the deal there is that wasn't the shot that caused you the problems. The shot was the drive. So it's all about, the whole thing is that all of these shots are predicated on you putting your drive shot, going out there and walking out onto the course and dropping your drive shot in exactly the spot that you wanted, so that you have exactly the next shot that you were looking for. All right, we're back on the bounce diddy bounce hole, par 3. And last time you were here, it was right there in the neighborhood. It doesn't take a whole lot of movement, but you want to get up there on that flat section. So more backspin. Hey, the whole reason we brought a Guardian, whenever you have a Guardian in your bag, the whole reason you brought a Guardian was if you only need 2 or 3 backspin, then you could bring a sniper because you got ball guide. But the reason we bring a Guardian is so that we can put 6 backspin on it and get right up next to the freaking cup. Nice. Because all I'm looking for is a birdie on that hole. That's it. I gave up that hole. All right. We're on a par 3 here. And you saved yourself the eagle. Excuse me, we're on a par 4. Saved birdie. Now let's see, the last time we were here, You hit it straight and you didn't put, now you're going back to the pinching up. You're only one ring off that transitional surface, and you over pulled it. If you hit a grate to the left, you're in the rough. You got lucky and hit it perfect. The reason you did that is because the last time you were on this hole, you clipped the rough out here, and you still clipped the rough. You still ended up in the same spot as you did before. But if you set that shot up with 2 and you put a little bit of curl on there and bring it back, then the shot's perfectly safe all the way through. Like there was no, like if you hit a grate to the left or the right, it's not going to matter. But you ended up in the right spot, so I will give you credit for that. Follow the force. The force is with you, man. I'm one with the force. The force is with me. I'm one with the force. The force is with me. I'm not doing any wind adjustment here. But I'm being like 5 rings out into the rough. You're like right on the transition between the rough and the fairway. So with the way that the wind's blowing here, it's not that critical, but you're too close. Always be at least 2 rings off any transitional surface. But here I found that you needed to be more. It ran better. Because that's what happens when you're too close. But you do make the next shot. So we'll go watch it so we can see you recover. We'll go watch it so we can see you recover, Terry. You did recover and get your birdie, which is the minimum score you needed, and you did recover. Let's see this get in the cup. In the hole. Look at that. You recovered. All right, what do we got left? Let's see what you did on the drive on this one. I mean, you guys played a lot of shots on this one. Something must have went wrong. All right, so we're doing a straightforward quarterback. I know that I didn't use an extra mile. I would never use an extra mile on a shot like this because my quarterback's more than enough club, and it's 1.5 times more accurate. I mean, think about it. The extra mile, well, this extra mile 7 is 2.1 per ring, so the quarterback is twice as accurate. So that means 2 of the quarterback's rings are in 1 ring on the extra mile. So if you hit a grate to the left or the right, it doesn't matter when you're using a quarterback. It makes a big difference when you're using an extra mile. And depending on how you set the shot, if you hit a grate to the left and it looks like it's going to roll right into the freaking rough. And you would have never had that happen with a quarterback. And when you're hitting into a narrow fairway like that down there, who cares about power? We're not looking for power here. We're looking for accuracy. That's one where the coach put in the play and then the quarterback decided to change the play on the deal. So let's see how you recovered, because that's a shit spot to be in right there. Because you can't get even a look. Like if you failed way down at the end and you tailed off onto the right hand rough, you might be able to catch this fairway. And if you can catch this fairway even a little bit, you can get up there. But from where you're at, and I have no idea what the club, and this is a good thing right here, Terry. I have no idea what club I'm going to be using from there, or what wind adjustment I'm going to be using from there, or what anything I'm going to be using from there. So for my game, I would have shot to where I was trying to get to begin with, because I have the club for that, and I have the ball for that, and I am all set up. I know what the wind adjustment is for that, so that on that shot, I at least have all of the stuff that I need in order to try and get into the hole. Let's see what your shot was going into the cup, because I have no idea what it's like from out there. It's probably a long iron from out there, but I don't know, like with the trees, like you'll probably have to land at the bottom. You won't be able to use the island because you're too far to the left. Yeah, you're too far to the left to use the island. So you have to land down at the bottom, and you have those trees right there on the left-hand side. And since you're hitting down to the bottom from the top, there's definitely going to be a wind adjustment here that's going to be different than the wind adjustment that we're using at the top. So in this circumstance, I would just go with wherever I'm at in my club, or I would just go with the 1.9 per ring that it is right now. So it'd be like a ring and in somewhere between a third and a half. Hitting it great to the left. It would have been close on a perfect. Would have liked to have seen that perfect. All right, so that quarterback on some of these holes, especially when I'm playing on a hole and I'm using a 100% accurate driver, I'm using that accurate driver because I don't care about distance. What I care about is ending up in the fairway. This shot is all predicated on ending up in the fairway, not ending up in the rough. All right, you got a good one on this one. What do we got here? Is this one of the par fours? See, like every one of these moments of brilliance that you had, Terry, if you would have been able to tack that on to a 24, I think so far you've had like 2 moments of brilliance. That means that you'd be at 26 right now. So the problem here is that you're trying, in my opinion, the problem is that you can't think that you have to pick up every shot. You're not going to pick up every shot, and you don't need to pick up every shot. In this last tournament, the minimum score was 24, and that leaves us 18 holes, and we need to pick up 6 shots. And so that means we need to pick up 1/3 of the stuff that's out there. So 1 out of every 3 trying to make one is like top of the heap. Coming in and picking up 2 out of 18 and picking up, 10%. Put you in a whole new tax bracket. That changes you from 24 to 26. And there's a lot of these brackets out there that 26 got banners. All right, let's see your shot coming in. Let's see you make the shot here. It was just a chip in. All right, so we have another good go at it here. So you made another great shot. So we're on hole number 8. This is a par. This is the par 4. This is the par 4. Let's see if you hit to the top again. The whole deal about hitting to the top is you just want to know, like with your club, how much top center backspin they have to use. And it's ideal to do it at red line. So you're at the red line. You're pulling the wind out, so it doesn't matter that you're at the red line. And then you put on however much top center backspin and you work that number so you know that it's 1.5 backspin. And you just get up there and set the shot up with 1.5 backspin, take the wind out, and bam, you're in the same exact spot every freaking time. When you start pulling back from the red line, it's harder to judge like where you were at last time. So you went back up to the top, and you must have had to make a chip. It must have been, this shot right here must be on the fringe or on the rough somewhere down there. I swear there has to be somewhere between a 40 and a 50% wind adjustment on this. There has to be a big one. There has to be. Because you're way down on the bottom of that hill. There's just no way. That hits 1.7 per ring. So 2 rings is 3.8. If you did a 30% wind adjustment, we're looking at 4.85. That'd be like 3 rings. And that was about 2. Isn't it perfect? Ending up on the fringe on the other side. I don't know how that shot's set up because I never took that shot all week. I don't even know what the look stuff is down there. So let's see how I did on hole number 9. Let's see how your drive was. See if you ended up in the spot. Overall, Terry, it was a really good round. I know like you can shake your head and you can be you can tell the coach, you can tell the coach he doesn't know what he's talking about, but those little teeny things on some of those shot setups can make a huge difference in your round, because you can't afford. We have a newer teammate, Mike Ivy, Semper Fi. And when I called him and talked to him on the phone, and when we were talking, his deal is that like every tournament he's picking shots up, he's doing the things that he needs to do to win. But there's always one hole in every tournament where he drops the minimum score. And you can't recover from dropping the minimum score. I mean, you can go, hey, I picked up a couple of eagles, so I can go ahead and use one of those to make it up. You can do that. But the deal is that changes your real estate. Just that one shot changes your real estate so bad that. So you did end up in the fairway. Let's see the shot coming in. You can do that, but you can't. You have to shoot the minimum score and then hang on to every single thing that you pick up if you want to get a banner. I mean, that's just how it goes. I mean, the competition is way too tough for you to go out there. And I mean, sometimes you can get lucky and you can not pick up one that you should have picked up, or you can do that. But dropping a shot on the minimum score is like really bad. Okay, you brought the hammerhead. I think last time you didn't. I think last time you brought the sniper. Great. Man, that looks like it's going to go long. The deal is, I think I had the hammerhead in there because it hits 170 versus the 160 for the sniper. And the deal is you don't have to do any overpower if you're in the right spot. So the length, especially like when you're on drive shots, you have to do certain things to get the drive in the middle of the fairway. But when you're doing those shots coming into the cup, you want to try and never do curl. You want to try and never do overpower. You want to try and never do that. The less movement you have to put on that ball, the better, because the more movement you put on there, the more variables you have to deal with. So overall, it was a really good round, Terry. But the deal is that the little teeny mistakes that cost you the minimum score, you picked up at least one. I think you picked up one, so you would have been looking at a 25, and there may have been two in there that you picked up, and so those one or two shots make a huge difference if you're talking about having minus 24. Like when you walked into the tournament and you started off, they just went, hey, it's Terry. We'll just start him off at minus 24, and then everything he picks up, we can just add on there. If that was the case, if that's how we played, and you had that minus 24, think about how good your tournaments could be if you never dropped any of the minus 24 shots. So every time you pick one up, and you don't have to pick them all up. If you pick up 2 or 3 out of 18, you just pick up 3. That changes you from 24 to 27, and 27 was a banner. In a lot of brackets, you're winning a banner, maybe even a win. And it's just so you're down to those fine little teeny details of not, like set the shot up so you give yourself plenty of room. And I know, Terry, that you watch lots of people who shoot video, and I'm sure, because like Hank and Dale Appleby, just those two guys, they set their shots up so that they're a half a millimeter off of a transitional surface and go, yeah, just hit perfect. And I know that mine are set up too, and then I have to do some other stuff in order to bring the ball in there, but my shots will be more consistently put you in that spot. All right, that was just a walkthrough. So I think overall, like I said, you did really good, Terry. But minimum score, you'd be at 25 instead of 21. Let's see, where did we end up? Let's see what the round looked like. I don't even think I looked at it. No, we're not in the 9-hole cup. And is it already off? No, there it is. Tournament complete. Loading data. Was it 41st? 42nd with a minus 21. So 3 shots. That's a 4-shot swing. So if you'd have shot a 25 and you came in with a 25 and an 8, just because I ran out of time. So you came in with a 25. So 25s, let's see like where the 25 cutoff would be. You'd have came in 4th or 5th. You came in 4th. You'd have came in 4th place with the minimum score and the one that you picked up. You'd have been that close to a banner. That's the difference, and that's the difference between being 41st and being down there is minimum score and picking up one shot. So when we talk about trying to be in top 5, top 10, trying to get a banner every week, if you can't shoot the minimum score, it doesn't matter how many shots you can pick up. All right. Thanks for watching.